Welcome to the V3 implementation call. Today is July 12th. Can you believe we're this far into the year already? Getting real close to the annual meeting, so excited about that. Hope you're as excited about it as I am. If you have not already done so, please update your name with your affiliation in the participant list. These meetings are recorded and shared on the NEMSIS website and YouTube channel, and feel free to share those with your team or review them as you need. We do encourage participation. As I mentioned a moment ago, we do have the room sort of locked down at the moment. So if you do have a question, please mention in the chat or use the raise your hand feature, and one of us will come over, unlock your unmute, or ask you to unmute, and then you can ask your question. And we review all that information in our post-meeting debrief. And so to begin, we are going to start with our stakeholder introductions, which will be facilitated by Lauri.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris. And I'm going to share my screen here. And I do want to say welcome and thank you to everyone who has filled out my form so that we can introduce you on this call. If you'd like to be introduced, reach out to me and I'm happy to give you that information as well. But really the purpose of this is to get to know each other, build some connections so that you have kind of a face behind a voice or a name that you may hear on these calls, and you can use that connection hopefully to lead to some collaboration, maybe working together, and just to kind of have fun and get to know each other on the call as well. So our stakeholder we're introducing today, we asked them what do they like to do to relax or unwind, and they said they enjoy spending time with their two boys, playing arcade games, having a glass of wine, and listening to music, which sounds lovely. Something interesting about them, they speak 3 fluent languages, so that is impressive. And what do you like best about your job? They said they analyze data to improve patient care in our community, encountering new challenges and new trends, and the ability to interact and help our EMS agencies and personnel. What they enjoy best. Anyone have any guesses? I think you may know. You can write a name in chat. This is Dipti Patel. So Dipti, if you're on, if you want to wave or say hello, we can unmute you if you want to say hello. But Dipti is a newer state data manager in Georgia. She took over, she's been on the team in Georgia working with EMS data for a while and took over Cassie's position there. So Dipti, hello and welcome. And thanks for joining us and sharing these pictures of you and your boys today. And I just wanted to say as well, I don't know that we've had any states turn green since the last call, but we have, I think, at least a dozen that are very close, that are submitting records, and some we just need to confirm that we've received them successfully. But I think there's several states that within the next few days or weeks, or definitely within the next month, I think we'll see 10 or 12 states turn green. So I want to say a huge shout out and thank you to all the work that's gone in behind the scenes on the behalf of our vendors who are on the call today, as well as state data managers and other stakeholders. Thank you. We recognize and know that that is a heavy lift to update and transition to the new standard in version 3.5. So thank you for that. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I know we also have a couple states here that I've submitted tickets to change to a different color. I know Mississippi should be purple, so we're just waiting on our team to get that updated. But if you think your state should be a different color, reach out to me and we will get that taken care of if it's not accurate. And then a couple of things to mention. I sent out a survey last week. It's due back to me by this Friday. And this is just a quick, this is just for state data managers, but something we started last year at the NEMSIS annual meeting is the NEMI Award, where we like to highlight and really honor any state data managers that have kind of gone above and beyond or done a great job using EMS data in your state, or maybe reaching out and helping others and collaborating. And we wanted to add something. I think this was a suggestion last year, but we wanted to add kind of a People's Choice Award. And so I did send out a survey where you could nominate up to 2 state data managers. And if you can submit that by Friday, again, we're going to choose that. And we need to get the awards and plaques made and need to make a selection by Friday. So if you can look for that survey or reach out to me if you need me to resend it. And then also next week, you can be looking for a survey to us. We are every quarter checking in on the transition timeline of states, if that has changed, or if you have any information to update on your state page. And I'll talk about that some more later on the call, a new plan that we have moving forward for that we hope will meet everyone's needs in a better way. But be looking for a survey next week to update your transition times on your state page. That is all I have. I'll pass back to you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lauri.
Yeah.
Get them to the agenda here. And according to my agenda, I believe Monet is going to talk to us about the save the date for the NEMSIS annual meeting.
Yes, Chris, can I go ahead and share my screen?
Please.
Thank you. Okay, can you verify that you can see everything?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I apologize, I'm not on screen today. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I do want to thank everyone who has currently registered for the meeting. And if you have registered for the hotel, registered to have your accommodation saved at the hotel, and have not yet registered for the annual meeting, please take some time to do that. I would like to also get a count of the folks who will be attending the after hour activities. Everything about the annual meeting is on the hero slider on the NEMSIS website. And so we have the letter if you need this letter to submit it for approval. We also have a preliminary agenda, and it has a highlight of the activities and the discussions that are taking place each day. Below this particular agenda, there is a waiver for the Utah Olympic Park, and this will allow me to track folks who have completed their waivers. Here are some frequently asked questions about payment situations, especially if you need to have a PO established and submit a check to the tag. At this time, I would like to let you know that the hotel venue is sold out for the lowest rate rooms. So the next accommodations would be at the $229 price point. But they're beautiful rooms. They have hot tubs and a view overlooking the area. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the hotel block will actually close at the end of this month. And so we would love to have as many people get their reservations completed before the block is sold out or before the block closes. If you have any questions about anything related to the NEMSIS annual meeting, please feel free to submit a help desk ticket here. Just use the general category and we will definitely get back to you at our earliest convenience. If there's anything that's missing on this page that you would like to see here related to the annual meeting, just shoot us an email or a ticket and we'll make sure we get that information added to this page as well. Are there any questions at this time? Okay, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Monet. I know you put a ton of work into the annual meeting and it shows this, oh, wrong share there. This one. I do too many things at once. This one. Okay. Monet, again, thank you for all the hard work you put into the annual meeting. It's always a great time and very useful, great learning and discussion event. So looking forward to that again this year. With that, we are going to move on the agenda, we have the new national custom elements from Correa and not Clayman because he is presenting right at this moment at the conferences he's at. So Jen, if you want to like do two voices, maybe that will be almost the same as having him here, or you could just do it yourself. That seems fine too.
Yeah, I think I'm having a hard enough time with my own voice this morning. So I think I'm just using one.
Awesome.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can see my screen. Normally there is a green box around it, which there is not today. So can you see the homepage for the NEMSIS.org website?
Yes.
Perfect. So good morning, everyone. A new national custom element was put out last week. This was developed by our NEMSIS stakeholder partners. Jay and his custom element work group put in a lot of time and effort to create the parameters that they wanted for this new custom element. So it is located in the custom element library. And you can click here to go to the map. And I happen to know that this one involves patient race. And you can see it right here, national custom elements as defined. And this has added some pertinent negatives to the ePatient 14 element for refused, unable to complete, and unresponsive. So if you utilize this custom element, or you would like to utilize this custom element, the parameters have been built here. Excuse me. And you can go ahead and ask your vendor to add them for you to use. Are there any questions? You can go ahead and you can put you could put a hat on today, was it? You can go ahead and put it into the chat, and I'd be happy to answer them. Or, of course, as always, you're welcome to reach out via email or call. And I went ahead and stopped sharing, and I will pass back to you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Yes.
Jen, you have a question in the chat from David Taylor. Is this element going into V3.5?
This is actually being voted on. There was a request to make it a part of version 351. So that is a question within one of the surveys. I want to say it's in survey 2, which is, if you don't mind, actually, Chris, I know it's not on the agenda. Do you mind if I talk about the surveys for a minute?
Please.
Okay, so thank you to everyone who completed survey 1. We appreciate that. Survey 2 went out yesterday. You should have gotten it in your inbox if you're on the East Coast around 8 a.m., if you're on the West Coast around 5 a.m., and if you're in between, somewhere in between 5 and 8 a.m. There are 29 questions within this survey. Some of them are very layered, right? So the first question is, do you want this change? And if you say yes, then you get some different options that you may select 1, 2, more, or you can always put in your suggestion for how you think that request could be fulfilled. So please take some time and complete the survey. This is how you get your voice heard. Not all of the items that are within the surveys are going to be discussed at the annual meeting, right? So anything that is on the cusp, or anything that there were a lot of disparate comments or anything like that, will be talked about at the annual meeting. But if there's an overall yes to one of the suggestions, it will move to the next phase of the process. So it is important that you take the time. When you open the survey, it will ask you if you're representing your organization or if you're representing yourself. So you can answer the question, as we do have some EMS provider agencies that attend this call and that were sent the survey as well. And you are welcome to complete it as well, whether you are representing your agency or just yourself. So please feel free to ask questions. If there's something in there that you don't understand, that you want a little clarification on, and you go to the change ticket and you still don't understand, please feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to answer questions to help facilitate the process. The due date for this is midnight of July 28th. So that's when this survey will close. Please complete it before then, because we won't be reopening it. And then there will be one more survey that comes out on July 31st that has a roughly 15 questions. Those are with the last minute submissions for change that came in between the 15th of June and the 1st of July, and a few more of the items that needed, that will probably have a lot of discussions involved. I do see a couple of questions. Is there results from survey 1? No, we don't have those results ready for you. I'm hoping to have it by the next V3 call. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am looking through the comments, and that was it. That was the only question, was about the results. Are there any questions about the surveys? I am going to go off video and turn it back to Chris.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jen. And thanks everyone for the questions. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Next, we have Lauri, who is going to be talking to us about the state and vendor transition plan page. Lauri, if you want to take it away. Lauri, are you on mute?
I am. So
there you
sorry.
go.
I was
No
talking
worries.
away there.
I'm sure it was great. Now that was a practice one. Now you get to do the real one.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I just wanted to give an update on this spreadsheet that we created earlier in the year. Initially, we essentially the goal here was to try to help communication between states and vendors to help communicate your transition plan to the new version 3.5. And what we created was surveys that we're sending out quarterly. I mentioned that I'll be sending another one next week to states to get updates on your transition plans, and then trying to communicate that with vendors. Let me say first that really direct communication is best. Relying on a date that we've put on our website that may or may not have been updated by that state is definitely not as reliable as going directly to the source. We know that there's often nuances that are not communicated as well in a former survey, or there may be changes of plans that happen, and states may forget to update us on those plans. And so we've gotten some feedback on this form that it has caused some confusion and been not as helpful as we hoped it would be. And so we've come up with a solution that we hope will, better meet that need of helping states and vendors know when each other's ready to transition and when that transition is happening and exactly what it looks like. So initially we reached out to vendors. We did not get a lot of response. As you can see here, the ones we heard from a lot said their transition date was to be determined at that point. And so essentially we're going to do away with this information because we recognize that at this point, most vendors hopefully are ready to transition or have already done so and may not have communicated that with us. And so we don't want this to reflect poorly on an organization that is ready to transition. And then the second tab here, if you've seen this or used this, you know that we just had a couple columns where we asked the state what quarter they were planning to transition in, and then also the last day that they were planning to accept 3.4. And what we realized there is that there were several states that really preferred more of a narrative approach, that it was hard to explain their transition with a quarter or a date, that was kind of limiting. And we even heard that it was causing some confusion, perhaps missed deadlines in states because vendors were looking just at this sheet and not at their state page or not at other communication that had been sent out that was maybe more specific than this. And so I want to give a couple examples here. I know in Illinois, Dan asked if he was able to do this, and we encouraged him to put kind of more details on his state implementation timeline. And I'm trying to get to my other tab here. South Dakota was another state that wanted to put more information than just a quarter or a date that they plan to change. And so we were able to accommodate this in kind of more of a narrative form on their state page, where they were able to communicate in more detail what that transition was going to look like. I know other states, as they have transitioned, some have moved certain agencies at a time, groups of agencies together. Some have moved groups of vendors together at different weeks or months or time periods. And so often that needs to be communicated more clearly than just in a spreadsheet that was kind of limiting. So we have come up with a solution, and let me share that with you here. I should say Chris Hoffman has spent a lot of time coming up with a solution. And that is this. And so we have created a page, a new page on our website. It's still in the building phases, so it's not live yet, but we have taken information from each state page, each individual state page, and put it in one place. Excuse me. So it is kind of a one-stop shop. And so hopefully vendors will find this easier than having to click on individual state pages and gather the information. But the information you have here is exactly the same that's on state pages. When a state page is updated, this page is linked to it. And so it updates automatically. And you can download it, you can right click on it and print it or copy and paste and look at just states that you're working with and know their most current timelines and plans. And then as far as where we plan to post this, we plan to put this under the same place where the spreadsheet was. So under using EMS data, under the 3.5 revision, this tab right here will soon be replaced with a link to that new page on our website that will include information from all the state pages in one place. And we hope that that will simplify the process. As I mentioned previously, I'm going to send out a survey next week, and we're going to tweak that a little bit to allow a little bit more of a narrative response. If there's extra information you want to include that you want vendors or agencies in your state to know, we want state pages to be helpful both to agencies and vendors and states and everyone that's referencing and using them, and wanted to let you know about that change. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me about that. And then state data managers, if you can be looking for that survey. We hope to send it out next week and then update state pages by the beginning of August is our goal. So let me know if you have any questions or feedback about that. And I will pass it back to you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauri. Really appreciate that. Looks like we are going to go to Josh Legler for an interoperability update and then also for new case definitions. Josh, are you there? Oh, Josh can't unmute. I have locked things down too much, but that's okay. Get into the box here. Have to sing the alphabet song to get to the right place. Here we go.
Okay,
Oh.
I'm unmuted.
There you go.
Now, can I share screen?
Absolutely. You should, let's see if you can or not. Boy. And now Zoom does this thing where it moves people around on the list and then I can't find them. So we are going to make it like this. And now you should have the option.
Okay. Yep, it's coming up.
Awesome.
Great. Okay, let me just get chat back so I can see chat. I think we're set. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I have a couple just brief updates, and the first one is an interoperability update. As you know, we've been working hard on interoperability between EMS and the rest of healthcare for the last year or so. Wanted to just give you a couple quick updates on recent efforts and developments in interoperability space. First, the Interoperability Task Force that's been meeting monthly since late last or early this year. The topic that we covered in the June call of the task force was looking through a sequence diagram that illustrates the workflow that happens as an EPCR system being used by an EMS agency is interacting with a health information network to get patients' medical history, then to send a patient care report to a destination hospital and to get hospital outcomes after the call. So that was a great call. And I would encourage you to, if you're interested in keeping up on what we're doing here, that would be a great call to go back and review from the recordings. Our next call is tomorrow, July 13th at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We are going to hear from Health Gorilla, which is a company that runs a health information network. So it's one of the many options available for getting connected to these national networks. And then we're going to do an overview of standards and profiles used in healthcare data. So looking at first at IHE profiles, what is an IHE profile? How are they structured? What do they cover? And how do they relate to or reference other profiles and standards, particularly HL7 standards and implementation guides. So that'll be a helpful foundational piece. And then we're going to go forward with future calls looking at diving into the specific standards that would be used in each step of that sequence or workflow diagram. So when you're doing a patient lookup, what's the standard for doing that? When you're sending a PCR to the hospital, what's the standard for doing that? So the recordings of the task force calls are available on the NEMSIS YouTube channel. There's a specific playlist for them. Let's see. Yeah, so I can throw that link into the chat as soon as I finish up presenting here. There's also the GitHub repo that we are keeping for resources that we develop through this effort, and in particular, a wiki that we are building that's just documenting what we're learning along the way. So if you want a quick kind of primer on what we've done so far, then the wiki is just a quick read, probably 15 minutes or so to get you up to date with what we've documented so far. And if you want to just keep up and know when the next meetings are and so on, then go ahead and sign up for the Google group for the CMS task force. Couple other things. IHE is doing another Path to Production digital series event, and it's happening today and tomorrow. Most of the sessions are on demand, so you don't necessarily have to carve out time in your schedule today to catch these sessions, but you can go ahead and register for the event, and that will give you access to the sessions. And any of those pre-recorded on-demand sessions, you could go ahead and access for a period of, I think, several weeks, if not a couple months. So I've provided the link there, iheusa.org/node/123. I'll put that link in the chat as soon as I'm done as well. And that takes you to the registration for this month's digital series event. The IHE digital series is meant to provide educational sessions around interoperability topics. The task force call tomorrow will be kind of one of the spotlight sessions of this month's digital series. And then there's several other recorded presentations to just help you learn more about interoperability. And finally, the interoperability workshop that will be held at the, I guess what I'd call the 0 day of the NEMSIS annual meeting. It's a free add-on to your meeting registration. So if you're signed up for the NEMSIS annual meeting, it gave you an option to say that you wanted to come to the interoperability workshop. If you didn't check that option, but you do want to come, just contact the NEMSIS TAC, and I'm sure they can help get your registration updated. Let me show you. This is a flyer we'll be sending out shortly for that workshop. And I just want to show you the agenda that we have worked on. So lunch will be provided. And in particular, I want to highlight this this presentation by the Interoperability Institute. That'll be a nice overview of HL7 and in particular the HL7 fire standards. So I think that will be well worth catching. Then we're going to talk about how to get involved in the next IHE Connectathon and how to get involved in next year's HIMSS Interoperability Showcase. And after that, we're gonna kind of summarize the work we've done so far in the task force. So if you haven't been following the task force, this workshop is a great time to just get up to speed on what we've been doing. And then we'll talk about where we should go next and put some plans in place. So that's the update for interoperability. I have two topics in a row, so it'll take me a minute before I can get the rest of these links pasted in the chat. But any questions there, feel free to put those in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, well, if anything comes up, keep typing. I'm going to switch to my next topic, if that's okay, Chris.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Next topic, case definitions. The NEMSIS TAC publishes a set of case definitions that can be used for scenarios that are often tracked in EMS for performance improvement purposes or for research purposes. So the idea being, you know, I want to find all of the patient care reports in some pile of NEMSIS data that meet a particular scenario. I want to find all the strokes or all the cardiac arrests or all the calls where the patient died. So those case definitions are available and have been on the NEMSIS website through the Using EMS Data menu. The bottom link on that menu is case definitions. That takes you to this page that you see here. And this is the list of case definitions. And I just wanted to highlight that some new case definitions were just published about 2 weeks ago, at the end of June. They are behavioral health, micromobility, patient death, seizure, and sepsis. Those are the new definitions that were just published. You can take a look at those through this page. I also did a training, public training just yesterday on these new case definitions, and that is available on the NEMSIS YouTube channel. So I'm just putting a link in the chat to that training. And so if you didn't catch that yesterday, you can go ahead and watch this recording. It's just a brief half-hour update on those new case definitions and what's in them. All right, so as soon as I stop presenting here, I'll get all those other links into the chat from the interoperability stuff. But any other questions for me?
There is
Okay,
a question. There is a question about whether the interoperability session at the annual meeting will be available virtually.
Yeah, and those will not. So those pre-conference sessions, including the interoperability workshop, will only be in person. Okay, thanks.
Great. Thank you, Josh. Next on the agenda are items from the Office of EMS, but I believe Eric is presenting with Clay at the moment. So we are going to move to open forum. Is there anybody who would like to bring up anything for open forum? If you go ahead and raise your hand or indicate in the chat, we'd be happy to go ahead and unmute you if there's a topic you'd like to, anything you'd like to go over that we've gone over today or in previous sessions, or we should go over in a future session. If not, we are. Let's see. Karin has a question here saying, does the TAC have an update on the fact that ET3 is ending, and what is the overall impact? Let me put that question to the team. Is there someone here that would be able to address that? Or is that something we need to wait for Clay to be on board?
Hey, Chris, Clay and Eric would probably have the most current information. And I think neither of them are with us today, but we did have a call with ET3. We have a weekly call with the team. And I guess I don't have a lot of information on kind of the big picture impact. The NEMSIS TAC is going to continue to engage with the ET3 team until, through the end of their project. It will be ending the end of this year. So it's still going right now, but then at the end of the year, it will finish. I think it would be good for us to get some more information that we could share with everyone on kind of the big picture industry impact. I don't really have much insight on that yet.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Any other questions or topics? Going, gone until next time. So we are going to, I'd like to let you know that our upcoming meetings are on July. The next upcoming meeting is on July 26th, same bat time, same bat channel. And of course, another plug for the NEMSIS annual meeting. If you have not had a chance to go and check out all that information, please go to nemsis.org. And in the hero slider at the very top of the page, you will see a banner ad that says annual meeting. Just click on that, and all of the information, including where to click to register and see the agenda and find all of the opening letters and whatnot, are all there. If you want to make sure that you are updated for events like this and other announcements that NEMSIS is up to, go ahead and sign up for the Google group. Go to the nemsis.org website and find the big red button that says sign up for Google group. There you can also engage with us on our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at the moment. Maybe one of these days Threads. We'll see. We don't know where. There's a lot of stuff happening over there right now. So we thank you everyone for your participation today. I know you're extremely busy, and we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.